You mentioned that there's this thing in the rules that they are not following, but that's what we've been talking about from the beginning. If we were taking club licensing seriously, these things wouldn't be happening.
We've mentioned this thing like 1,000 times on this show.
We've been talking about club licensing every season. We talk about club licensing every season.
I said the last time I spoke with the club licensing manager then, Julius Benemuna, he told me that if you look at the club licensing in all and whatever that's stated in there, if we follow all of them,
we've said this.
We don't care.
Don't play the league.
We won't play.
No,
seriously, how do you build standards if you don't keep up standards?
So he said,
basically, once you keep bending the rules, why would any club bother to follow the rules if you are going to let them go anyway? You have to be sure. Even if you say you let them play, be saying that there's a points deduction, there's a fine, a fine. There has to be some punishment. You can't just say that let them play. That's why there's no standards in the league. You know there's no standards in the league. I know there's no standards in the league. Everyone knows there's no standards in the league. That's why no one watches the league. So there will be no league. Okay, no one is watching anyway. So what's the point of saying that? No, let's just have a league for what?
No, the players will suffer.
Sorry.
Anyway,
you see, the players will suffer. Doesn't even make sense. Because if there's no standards, how are the players even?
They are suffering.
You know, Ignatius Bafo, a worse problem now.
What's that?
The 40 players he's registered in his system as players for Nsoatreman. He says he does not want to do the football again. He doesn't.
Why doesn't he want to do that? As for that, I don't even want to hear it. Like, you didn't know you didn't want to do football again until there was violence at your home ground. He should go and sleep somewhere with that matter. Yeah, please talk to us about Hearts of Oak and Kotoko in this matter. They say that they want to demand certain standards. They are coming together to make sure that their voices will be heard. Also, Kotoko say that they are not touching any football activity until there is some form of justice served in this matter.
Oh, wow. I think they are Kotoko, because they are the main affected party. They've gone about this the right way. They've released statements. Members of their board have been in and around meetings that have been held over this issue. I was at the police headquarters on Wednesday to cover that meeting between the IGP, football officials, Kotoko officials regarding this issue. And yes, Kwesiapia was there. There were other officials from Kotoko also there. And so Kotoko, they've gone about this the right way because it's a very serious issue. And they've attached all seriousness to it to the extent that Meisha was also alerted about this issue from the reports I gather. And so they've done a good job when it comes to approaching this issue. Same with Accra to Folk, release statement, pledge their support to Kotoko on fighting this issue. But I think it's a little bit too late because those two teams,
as in the Hearts and Kotoko coalition,
yes, those two teams, they wield a lot of power, they wield a lot of influence, they wield a lot of following, and they didn't use that. They haven't used those things to lead the charge to get Ghana football from this bad spot that is in. Even before this Pole issue, there were so many, and there have been so many instances where you ask yourself and you think, but why isn't Kotoko, Hearts of Folk leading this charge where you can more or less say, okay, we are boycotting the league, or if you don't do this, we will not play until you get some things done, because it goes beyond crowd violence. It starts with the boardroom issues, where sponsorship comes in, the negotiation. None of the clubs are made aware of the negotiations, what goes into it, how it is split, everything. You just come. You
just hear that, you are getting $10,000.
You are getting this sum of money.
We'll send it to you next 2 weeks.
Once we are splitting it across 16 teams, 18 teams, this is what everyone gets. And that's pretty much it. Broadcast deals. This is what we get. This is what you are getting. Without any form of consultation involving the clubs. And I ask myself, if you do this to Accra Lions, it's not fair, but at the end of the day, Accra Lions' level of
they don't
power,
have influence.
Influence, it's a bit limited. But you can't go past Kotoko and Heart of Folk and go negotiate for broadcast rights without those two big teams getting involved, without the defending.
And there's a reason why they do it.
Without the defending champions, Summertex getting involved. One of the fast upcoming teams that have been pretty consistent over the past decade, Mediama, for instance. How do you go do these things without having these clubs involved? And that's where I come in and I ask myself, why is it that the clubs don't make a push to be able to get things to be better? Yeah. And it makes me believe that what we already know was a lot of the GFA officials, we already know per their body language, per their utterances, per their actions and inactions that they do not care about the Ghana Premier League. So now that you're in a position where you can clearly tell that they do not care, you are an engaged stakeholder. You want it to get better. Why aren't you using your leverage to get things better and force the issue? That's where my disappointment is. But on this issue, so far, they've done a good job. They've done what is expected of them. But this could have been prevented. Yeah. It could have been way better before getting to this very low point, because it has been on the low point for a very long time, the Ghana Premier League. But this is another
and this
low.
is hooliganism problem like number 4 or 5 in like the last 12 months.
This is a new low.
We've been having this problem since I started working on the sports desk.
To the point
which was about 2021.
Almost every quarter.
2020.
Almost every 4 or 5 months there's one.
Yes. We've been having this problem since. And even then, even then I had to go through a list of incidents in the last 18 months. It was like 10 incidents.
And to the point that now someone has been stabbed and has lost his life.
Yeah.
And
just for watching a football match.
You look beyond. I'm even looking beyond this issue, because now they are dealing with the police is investigating, making an arrest and all that. Now Ignatius Bafwewa isn't interested in running football anymore. But why would he? If I were him, I would do the same thing. A man has moved from childhood to this point in his life, achieved a lot. Served as member of parliament, served as a home minister of Ghana. And now because of football, something that he's invested tons of money into it, he's followed his passion, built it up. It has led to this disgrace because of a handful of people, what they've done. Look, the repercussions from this incident is very big. People are not seeing the big picture because a lot of people have some deep pockets that, with some little bit of coercion, not from the GFA, but from people like Ignatius Bafwewa. Oh, Charlie, come and help me out. Let's run this football thing that I've built so far. And they see this, the kind of embarrassment, the kind of serious criminality involved.
Yep.
Do you think they will want to get involved in any of this? Now, what happens to the players? What happens to Nsoatreman as a town?
Yeah.
All that money that would have come from having Kotoko, Heart of Folk, Mediama, all these teams coming over to the Nana Kwamansa Park. All of this gone, pretty much, because after this incident, I don't see the club existing anymore. I don't. I don't see it. I don't see Nsoatreman existing anymore, because how do you come back from this? How do you come back? Because your club was heavily involved to the point that you couldn't get your stadium to be right, your match venue to be right, that a supporter could enter the playing area and chase a Kotoko goalkeeper.
Yep.
That was a no-no. Now, if you look at the pitch that we were playing on,
I say at the Lincoln Sports Stadium, I was there and I needed to pick the team sheets. There was a change, so I needed to go back to the dressing room and pick it for that time. It was start time, so we're showing. I got in the inner perimeters and I was sacked by a fan.
You get it? And these things, the clubs are heavily involved. That's why, and I blame them. The clubs are heavily involved.
But my point is, at that time, what is that fan doing in
because
that area?
who allowed them to enter?
The club officials
It's
have
the
allowed
club
them to be
officials. And the crazy thing is that you can't pick police from Accra to Nsoatre or Kumasi to Nsoatre. That's extra cost.
Yep.
So
you need to engage the police.
You need to engage the local Kotoko, local police within that district, within that town. And these guys, they know the people. They roll with them.
They are going to form sports security officers in all the 16 regions.
They sit with them, have a drink or two with them. Mm-hmm. Boys, they vibe. Yeah. So if you see them, these fans engaging in these kind of violent clashes, what would they say? Mm-hmm. And number two, they are not even many at these venues. So what can they do? Are they equipped? Well, what can they do? Looking at those violent incidents that we witnessed at Nsoatre, how many police officers were there? What could they have done?
Apparently, there were supposed to be over 100 police people
but
there.
I heard there were 20.
They were not up to 50.
That again is part of the discussions.
I heard there were 20. I heard there were 20 people with those violent scenes that we saw.
So it depends on the category of the game, whether it is category A, B, or C.
Yes, but looking at the history between Nsoatre and Nsoatreman and Kotoko, pretty much all the BA teams and Kotoko, because it's Kotoko coming in, it's a big deal. And once it's a big deal, tensions are pretty much high. And so in that situation, you need to be able to read the situation and know that this is a game where your normal, 20 officers, 15 officers at the stadium, it just won't cut it. Double that number. And I'm pretty sure they would have been able to get this issue to be avoided. And the club officials, they are also complicit in all these. So if you are not helping the situation from within, you always hear this saying, brighten the corner where you are. You are not brightening the corner where you are. You expect someone to come from the outside to come and do it for you, knowing very well that the overall body that is expected to get things done doesn't really, per their actions and inactions, doesn't really show much interest in getting things done the right way. So for me, this is just a bad situation, and it's been coming. And at this point, we can only get better. If we don't get better, then I'm sorry. Then
we won't get better.
Then there's nothing. There's nothing to do when it comes to Ghana Premier League or local football. Then we have to abandon it and focus all our energies, resources on boxing, on athletics, on tennis, on basketball.
Let me just answer your question. It won't get better because there's things you talk about all the time. Nobody listens. Just have basic standards you don't want to do. But I want to talk about something you said just quickly before Coach goes. You mentioned that Kotoko don't want to play. If the league was thinking, they would have cancelled matches for at least a week or two.
They have.
That's what I'm saying. So they have to cancel.
So the next game day is not happening.
Yeah, it shouldn't happen. And they need to go straight to all the venues that are coming, and beef up their security in the short term. If they need to talk to the local police, whatever they need to do, that's the first thing they need to do before anything happens. So Kotoko saying that they won't play, I agree with them. But at a certain point, if let's say in the short term the security happens, let the league play. Then from next season, we are giving them the chance.
They can't say they won't play.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
You recall when...
No, that's what I'm saying, that they should come back, and from next season, standards have to be upheld. This club licensing that we are always passing here, we are passing here. And I understand, the players, but the players will always find an excuse. One day is the players, one day is the managers, one day is the owners, one day is the fans. We'll always find an excuse for someone so that we'll flout the rules. It can't happen anymore. But so the league being suspended is good. They should go and talk to the police around the match venues, all of them. Tell them that, look, we have a situation. We've seen what happened. We need to double or triple security, whatever. If the police don't agree, then you can't use the venue. I think that's the simple thing to go on.